Wait till you get in a serious crash in one and it catches on fire. Wait till the fire department can't help you.
There's actually a gas car that visited the delivery center, caught on fire, and it spread to 2 Teslas. But of course, blame it on the EV, even though data shows gas cars catch fire 10 times more often. Mainstream media, whatever the truth is, we report the opposite. And Elon said, yeah. Wow. Great. It is hard to fight this stuff, guys, because when we're out there in the field talking about our EVs, it's like, well, I heard they catch on fire. And nobody ever goes like, oh, really? The Tesla caught on fire? Let me do more research about that. They go, oh, yeah, I heard that Teslas do that frequently.
So make sure to watch us tomorrow.
Data, you can see that the average U.S. car drives 18 million miles before a fire. Now, this is versus a Tesla, which drives on average over 130 million miles before a fire. So that's over 7 times safer, or 7 times less likely to catch on fire than your average car. Yes. And so the next time someone's talking to you about, I heard they catch on fire, or I heard they're not safe, they're 7 times less likely to be on fire than your average car. It's just that when a Toyota Corolla catches on fire, it doesn't make the news.
Today in the news, unbelievable, Bob. There's a Toyota Corolla that caught on fire on the freeway today.
That never happens.
Unbelievable. Bringing you this unique story.
No, it happens every day. And if they talked about it every day, you'd say the news is boring. Exactly. They'd have to lump it in by the hundreds. Exactly.
The EVs, you're talking about high voltage, and these batteries are very hard to put out when it comes to catching on fire. That's the biggest thing people always talk about. Sure, they don't catch fire as frequently as gas cars, which are 61 times more likely to catch fire. Cars, which are 61 times more likely to catch fire. Sure, they don't catch fire as frequently as gas cars, which are 61 times more likely to catch fire. Gas cars, which are 61 times more likely to catch fire. Sure, they don't catch fire as frequently as gas cars, which are 61 times more likely to catch fire. 1 times more likely to catch fire. But when EVs do catch fire, they take so much water to put them out that fire officials oftentimes just let the vehicle burn without trying to intervene with it unless it's threatening a property. When it comes
% chance of a passenger electric vehicle battery catching fire compared with a 0.1% chance for internal combustion engine cars. Too many decimal points and percentage signs. Okay, let's simplify. A 1% chance would be 1 in 100. So a 0.1% chance for an ICE car to catch on fire is 1 in 1,000. Right. And the EV's chance of catching on fire? 1 in 100,000. So again, 100 times less likely to catch on fire than an ICE car. And finally, let's go to Tesla's data. The world's largest EV maker has studied their own cars in the US and says that the number of fires on US roads involving Teslas was 11 times lower per mile than the average US car. I just wish that I had this clip at Thanksgiving to share with my fuddy Uncle Bob.
The lithium batteries cannot be recycled in the mining and the production of lithium and
lithium batteries inside of your tools, and most importantly, what happens to the lithium batteries inside of electric vehicles? Are they thrown in landfills? Are they recycled? A lot of questions to be answered. Let's get started. Gilbert, Arizona, with a company called Li-Cycle, North America's leading lithium-ion battery recycler. They can do the small batteries, but they specialize in the super large EV battery packs. And the process is fascinating. A lot of the batteries you see here on the conveyor belt are intact, but Li-Cycle does take burn, damaged, and recalled batteries. Basically, batteries in any state can be recycled using this process. Among our selection of batteries today, it looks like we have cell phone batteries, laptop batteries, tool batteries, even some power banks. The biggest battery of all, of course, though, is the electric car battery sitting right here on the conveyor. Electric car batteries weigh thousands of pounds. Getting them up and onto the conveyor is a job all by itself. So to prep you for what's happening here, we have the EV battery pack going up the conveyor belt to this funnel right here.
The entire funnel, the whole tower, is full of a proprietary liquid with a massive submerged industrial shredder at the bottom.
I even found an old Nokia battery, a relic from times gone by. See you later, buddy. Hope you end up in an electric vehicle. There are a lot of materials inside the modules. We have the metal casing, we have the plastic interiors that hold all the modules steady, and of course we have the lithium, cobalt, and nickel inside of the batteries themselves. There's a lot to collect. One of the benefits of having the whole battery pack go into the shredder is that no one is required to disassemble the pack. Keeping the human operator safe is probably the most important part. After the batteries are ground up, they go from a charged state to a completely inert state. There is no electricity in the materials after the blender. It's getting kind of loud, but you can see them flowing through here down to a screen where the plastics get vibrated up. They're dropped down into a recycling bag for further processing. But you're probably not here to see how the plastic is separated from the battery. We're here to see what happens to the lithium, the cobalt, and the other precious metals.
After the electric vehicle battery is dropped into the shredder, it gets ground up into small metal flakes, which sink to the bottom of the tank and get conveyored up and out of the liquid like you're seeing here. Coming out of the vibrator, we have aluminum, steel, and copper, and sometimes even some sweet metals that come off the circuit boards, like gold, platinum, and palladium, all collected in bags to be recycled later.
With how valuable and useful these internal materials are, no one should be throwing them in a landfill.
The way the cobalt and lithium are extracted from that proprietary liquid inside the shredder machine is with something called a filter press. The metal-rich liquid is pumped into the large blue press, and that proprietary liquid is hydraulically squeezed out, leaving behind something called black mass on each of the individual filters. The black mass is what's falling down the chute as each of the filters are shaken, and is what contains all of our coveted elements.
The black mass has been valuable enough to be called the new gold. It really is the most valuable part of this entire process and what Li-Cycle is after. It's a vital ingredient in making new batteries. One of the coolest parts about this system is while they are using a ton of water inside, it is a closed-loop system and none of that water ever leaves. It's not used up in any of the reactions. There's also no air pollutants in a traditional sense since nothing's being burned. After the batteries have been shredded, sorted, filtered, and pressed, we're left with these three commodities here. We have the middle bag, which is full of plastics that came from floating off the top of the liquid. Then over here, we have the aluminum and copper shred, which sank down to the bottom. And lastly, we have our coveted black mass. And this is where we find the cobalt, the lithium, and the nickel. It feels a lot like black mud. The elemental metals can be infinitely recycled, and 95% of the batteries that go through this system are collected in one of these three bags. Lithium batteries are extremely recyclable, and Li-Cycle's doing it right here in Arizona. It's like a bunch of forbidden chocolate. The batteries are collected here in the United States, recycled here in the United States, and probably made into brand new batteries using this right here in the United States. Super fun seeing this process. I do have to fly home though, so I'm not taking this with me. Right here in Arizona is an above-ground lithium mine that's processing batteries instead of earth. It generates 70% less emissions recycling and reusing the battery than it would be if we were mining it straight from the earth the first time around.
This Li-Cycle spoke in Arizona has the ability to process up to 18,000 tons worth of lithium-ion battery material.
Okay? So please, just stop. Stop. Use your head, do your own research. Start following private, independent channels. Do not listen to the mainstream media. You know damn well you cannot trust them. Okay? Oil hates Tesla for a reason, obvious reason. The media hates Tesla because they do not advertise and spend billions of dollars. At the same time that they're not advertising, who is? The auto dealerships count for billions upon billions of advertising money because auto dealerships, privately independent dealerships, are one of the biggest multi-millionaire independent millionaires in our nation. Tesla does not have dealerships. It's direct from the factory. So then that leads to the next thing. The dealerships then hate EVs and want to advertise all this bad stuff because why? How do dealerships make their money after they sell you the car? Servicing the car. You don't service car. I've put 60,000 miles on my Tesla. The heater went out. $577. 60,000 miles on it in 11 months. Not a single oil change. Okay, so dealerships hate it. Advertising hates it. The media hates it. Oil companies hate it. Please do your research. And so the people that buy that crap, that believe all of that shit, they are the brainwashed ones. They're the dumb, brainwashed ones following the media. You cannot trust the media. If it says this and advertises an EV fire, say, oh, it's a very rare case. Don't believe the media. When you hear about these floods in Florida right now and these Teslas, they say EVs catching on fire. How many of them are Teslas? 1? Maybe 2? There's other EVs. Oh, well, these EVs, the chargers, you're sitting in line waiting to charge your car. You're waiting in line. Really? Not Teslas. Other EVs, yeah. They got like one stall. And people are fighting over that one stall. Tesla superchargers, you pull up, there's 20 stalls. It's never full. There's never a wait. Lies. You're gonna argue with me? I've got like 250,000 miles on Teslas in the last 3 years. I drove 2,000 miles all over the Black Hills of South Dakota. It's not an issue. It's lies. Stop being brainwashed. Use your head and do your own independent research. When you hear this from the media and pop culture and celebrities, flip it. Okay? Anytime pop culture, celebrities, the mainstream media news are bashing something, that means that thing that they're bashing is the winner, and that's why they're bashing it.